Hey, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Special edition drop. All this week, we stuffed your stockings, your meat stockings.
Okay, this is a phrase that Bobby, during the course of watching these movies, decided was funny. I do not support it.
Let me put my candy cane in your meat stocking.
No.
Yeah, she hates it.
Hate it.
If you're normal, you probably hate it too. Mm-hmm. But we're doing one of those movie review 6-pack. This is our third one. We did all the first 6 Halloween movies on Halloween to culminate our Halloween Hump Fest. Our first one was a bit experimental, a lot more random movies if you go back and look at the 6-pack movie reviews. But I kind of like the 6-pack reviews with a specific theme. So I know we wanted to hit up some Hallmark movies, and which is not something that we're averse to.
No.
Like, we'll actually kind of hit them up. We don't mind some made-for-TV dribble, some nonsense, you know?
Don't you feel that it started with Christmas Kittens?
Oh, from like a few years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, you can get us with kittens to watch pretty much anything.
Kitten Christmas 2 was weak as hell,
It
though.
was.
But no, we've seen some before. But you had acquired this collection. Let me put it up to the camera.
Lacey Chabert.
The Lacey Chabert picks. And yeah, so apparently what was that show she was in?
Party of 5.
Is that the one with the pedo dad?
No, that was Seventh Heaven.
Oh, okay.
Party of 5 was Scott Wolf. That's where Neve Campbell came from.
Okay. But she was also in Mean Girls.
Why should Caesar get to stomp around like a giant while the rest of us try not to get smushed under his big feet? What's so great about Caesar? Brutus is just as cute as Caesar. Okay, Brutus is just as smart as Caesar. People totally like Brutus just as much as they like Caesar. And when did it become okay for one person to be the boss of everybody, huh? Because that's not what Rome is about. We should totally just stab Caesar!
Gretchen Wiener's had cracked.
She was in Mean Girls. Yes.
And I think those are her biggest. She was a child in Party of 5.
Yeah, she was the youngest.
I never saw that show.
She was also in, the only other thing I remember watching a lot that she was in was the movie Tart, which was like an indie.
So she has become the Hallmark Christmas Queen. There's some that have come and gone over the years. Apparently, Candice Cameron Bure was involved for a minute. I think the Melissa Joan Hart. I think they're particularly.
I have seen a Melissa Joan Hart Christmas Hallmark movie.
I think they're particularly religious, though, and I think Candice Cameron Bure went on to some more faith-based programming or something. Yeah. But Lacey Chabert is the one that stands atop it all. Though this idea, after sitting through 6 of these of the Lacey Chabert Fair, going back to a time where Candice Cameron Bure was in Hallmark movies, this idea that these are somehow like too secular or too
literally insane. It
is kind of dumb to, like, if these are like, oh, these aren't. I mean, they're not explicitly throwing the word God and prayer around all the time, but you could not have a more formulaic, safe movie.
There is 0 sex. You're lucky if you get a kiss that lasts longer than a few seconds at the end of the movie.
These things might as well be made under the Hays Code.
You know, yeah. You know, you don't even get cleavage, really. And then also, there is some magic in a couple of these that we're going to talk about.
We got Secret Santas.
But it's Santa magic.
Yeah, the old, like, is he really?
I don't know. Isn't he supposed to be a saint? Shouldn't that be okay? I don't know. We're not religious.
So we talked about these movies in the order as they're presented here on the box. And as it turns out, the order goes from more recent to descending. So we go back
in time.
We start around 2019, 2020, and then we end up in 2015. And I was trying to analyze my perceptions on it because I felt like the first couple, not so bad for what they are.
No.
But then as we kept going back, I was like, ugh.
It got worse.
Ugh. Now, the 2015 one, which we will get to, A Christmas Melody.
Directed by one Miss Mariah Carey.
Don't quit your day job, Mariah. We'll get into that one. But let's talk about the formula of these movies.
Yeah.
I prefer the ones where she has more of a humble kind of job, where she's like a cook. And the first one, we've already got the stats up for the first one we're going to talk about.
She never really has a humble job.
Christmas in Rome. She's like a tour guide.
She is a tour guide, but in Rome.
And she is working for some kind of different firm. She's either a lawyer or she's in marketing. I think she's involved in real estate.
We'll get into the specifics as we talk about the movies.
But I'm just talking about the structure of the jobs, because at some point the job gets in the way of love or progress.
Yes.
When she's trying to focus on something more seasonal and magical.
Or in a couple of these, the job puts her in a position to be closer to the man that she's going to fall in love with. All of these men, except 2, so like 4 out of 6 of these guys look almost exactly the same. There's like this tall, sandy blonde, light brown hair, way too big of a smile white guy thing that is very like Disney Prince-esque. Like these dudes have zero personality to me most of the time. And they're just very blank slates, I feel like. They're just like the nice guy.
Not even your boy Will Kemp from Christmas Waltz?
He's different. He's one of the 2 that...
He actually is a dancer, I think.
He is different, and I liked him a lot, actually. I really liked Christmas Waltz a lot. Of all these, that might be my favorite. The guy in the last one, he was sort of doing the, like, dark, handsome country boy thing, but...
That guy looked like he was pushing 50, you know?
Well, so did Mariah Carey, and they all were supposed to have graduated together in 1998.
Mariah is literally in her 50s, I'm pretty sure.
We'll talk more about it. She's supposed to be the same age as Lacey Chabert.
So, but of course, at the end of all of these, she's got to fall in love with someone. Mm-hmm. Lacey Chabert, she gets fresh dick every year.
There's also always what we called a wobble.
Or a waffle, or a wobble.
Well, he calls it a waffle. I call it a wobble. Because it's not that either one of them is doubting that they love the other. So it's not like waffling as in, I don't know if I want to be here. It's a wobble as in, like, they're going fine, and then something, like, knocks them off course, but not enough to really make a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's very quickly resolved.
Yeah, and the wobble or waffle comes in the form of listening to a half a conversation, or
almost always,
or secondhand information,
or just seeing her standing with another man.
Actually, that's kind of a red flag if you're going to throw off all your shit when she's just standing by a dude.
There is, part of it is there's almost always a recent breakup. So she's had her heart broken, whether it's a broken engagement or a shitty boyfriend or whatever. And then so in those instances, that man comes back into her life and always wants her back. They always want her back. Sure. Because they realize what they lost.
They made a mistake. They're so business-oriented.
Lacey Chablew it.
Yeah. You've been thinking of that one.
No, I really didn't.
Really?
Yeah, that's just off the dome.
I might be a little too impressed, but they Chablew that shit. And now she's off Chablowing someone else.
I mean,
because you Chablew it.
There were so many times where we were like, just fucking kiss each other.
Before we get into the movies too, and I don't know if you can see it, maybe I'll throw up some graphics, but I feel like the graphics department, Lacey Chabert, I think she's a pretty lady.
She is a pretty lady.
And a lot of the movies really get her makeup right in the sense that she doesn't look overdone, but she often has like a glow up in these movies. Like
there's always a
moment
party
where she's really done up. Mm-hmm. And like you could see the graphics of that are probably have some Photoshop going on above our heads there. Like she looks the worst when they just feel like they need to overglow her, overdo her.
You don't need to.
I mean, I don't know if you could see this. Like look at Nah, you can't see that. I'll just throw up the graphic for Christmas Waltz.
Photo is terrible.
She looks like she got slapped in the face with a copy of like Grey's Anatomy or something. And she looks like worse on the cover of these things than she actually looks.
Yeah, because she is pretty. And these things act like they had to fix it or something and they just made it worse.
Also, my one major complaint before we get into this is that I feel like there's some gayness under the surface of all these movies.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like that with so many movies
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Like, there's always like a secondary friend who's offering wise advice, and they will often be like, "Oh, my wife," and I'm like, "You ain't fooling me, buddy.
Oh, no. Yeah.
You ain't fooling me." But I think these movies need to go gayer. I think they need to. Well, there's that little boy in Christmas Waltz.
No. Last year we watched. It was like a gay. There was the one that was little. There was the gay one that was like Kristen Stewart, where it was 2 girls, and then there is a gay one where it's 2 guys, and it's like a holiday movie. It's not a Hallmark, I don't think, but it's that vein. So there's a few.
Yeah, I know
there's
there.
not enough.
I agree. I think there should be a gay best friend in at least all of these, an openly gay best friend.
Oh, see, I was just talking straight up gay love story.
Well, sure, that's great too. No complaints.
But there needs to be an openly gay best friend.
An openly gay friend in all of these. If you're going to get formulaic, let's go. Like, they should be so stereotypical that gay people protest these movies. You know, like this is a bit much for us. Okay, no, I'm kidding. But seriously, I would like to see that. That friend is gay. Just make him gay. Just say he's gay. Have him bring his boyfriend to the holiday party. I feel like you can push your challenges, your boundaries within these roles that you're expected to hit. These points you're expected to hit. And sometimes within those boundaries, you can really come up with something interesting. So I would like to see, it would be nice to see someone like a more seasoned, more broad-minded director who has a lot more experience, like what they would do with a Hallmark movie. Like, if I were like in my head, I was an actor, and of course I'm going to say like I'm a Daniel Day-Lewis high prestige actor. I would totally do at least one Hallmark Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Probably do a Lacey Chabert one where I play her brother.
Okay.
Or
you gonna direct yourself?
No,
Mr.
I want to play her ex-boyfriend that she's leaving. And she goes, she leaves me for a guy with some kind of disease, like progenia or something like that.
What's that? Where you get old really fast?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Okay.
I just that's how good I am. I just spitballed that, and it's like the best Hallmark movie you've ever
Sounds
heard.
really sad.
Progeria. Is that what it's called?
You want to do this?
Yeah, we better do this. All right. So we'll hit the trailer. Our stats are already up for the first one, and then we'll get into it.
6 minutes each.
You don't ever stop and smell the roses?
I don't think roses are in season this time of year.
Okay.
A very special original holiday movie that proves
Perfect.
Rome is where the heart is.
This trip is not where I expected it to be.
In a good way, I hope.
Lacey Chabert and Sam Page star.
Where there is passion, there is art.
Bellissimo.
Christmas in Rome. Only on Hallmark Channel.
Christmas in Rome, directed by Ernie Barbarash, starring Lacey Chabert. Oh my God, it's Sam Page, Franco Nero, Holly Hayes, written by Greg Rossen, Brian Sawyer, and Alex Wright.
Awesome. This was 2019.
Yes.
This is the first movie we watched. Lacey's name is Angela.
So
in this one,
she's a tour guide. She's like
in Rome.
She's a Italian culture vulture, basically.
She works for a company where she is a tour guide for them, but she's always trying to take people on side adventures, and so she gets fired at the very beginning of the movie.
Because she's too passionate she wants to show people the real Italy. It implies that she took some, like, gladiator sword and played with it with her tour.
That she gave it to a child who took it home.
Yeah.
To, like, England.
Well, what else would you do if you just give it to them, right? But there's a man,
Oliver,
who I don't mind this hunk.
He's actually one of my favorites.
He's a guy who merges companies.
He works in acquisition. I wrote these things down. Acquisitions and business development. And he has been sent by his boss at Christmas to Rome to try to buy a small ceramics company that makes gorgeous, among other things, Christmas ornaments.
Now, this guy, his company is sent to Rome to acquire.
Just him.
Or his company sends him to Rome to acquire this ceramics company that seems like a very family oriented, like it's done by this guy who's with Lacey's help, Lacey becomes his personal tour guide after she helps him out around Rome. And he's so busy, but she kind of breaks him down and she tries to explain, like, when you're meeting with businessmen here, you got to, like, take it slow.
She really helps him or he would have not gotten this deal.
And there's this guy who's like, first of all, no matter what this guy does, if you're all about family and tradition in your ceramics business, it doesn't matter if, like, that particular person agrees with everything you say or sits down or he's making ceramics with you and really connects with your family. It matters what his Western American company is going to do. Yeah. He can actually literally get something very positive out of the experience as the guy wants, the Italian seasonal way. Yeah. But then he's just going to pop it back and they'll be like, yeah, we got 4 warehouses, one in India, one in Mexico.
Yeah, he only wants to sell to someone who understands Rome and appreciates his business and is going to take care of it.
And this guy doesn't even understand the nature of the businesses he's dealing with.
I mean, I don't know if he does or not. But what ends up happening, we can talk about the love stuff, but they do end up getting he does end up getting the company. But the deal he makes is that he gets to stay in Rome and run the company. So it's like he's trying his damnedest to keep it as close to what it's supposed to be as it can. But like you said, there's going to be concessions made.
Yeah, it's not.
And that guy's going to die at some point.
He works for the company. He's not the CEO.
No.
Of course, Lacey and him come together through the streets of Rome. It is a very scenic movie compared to all the other ones. It's beautiful.
She takes him to all the major places that you're supposed to see. And there's this lovely, lovely part where he hand paints an ornament for her.
That is legitimately sweet.
It's so sweet. And it's all the places that she took him. And he gives it to her at the end, and that's how she, like, I guess, knows that he really cares about her.
The waffle here is that the company wants him to come back because they're going to give him a promotion or something like that because they're so happy he acquired this company.
And he has to be home immediately, and he's going to get all this money, and then they would never see each other again.
These fucking white-collar workers, they don't work on fucking Christmas. I'm sorry. Like, that's always the plot.
I know.
They're, like, so easy off more than anybody else during this time.
Well, I don't know. You always get that. This is a trope that we've seen time and again in even, like, mainstream movies, like Elf. He's got to go present the book on Christmas Eve. Like, these guys who have a ton of money don't give a fuck about going home to their family and don't care if you do either. Yeah. That's what they're it's a Grinch kind of Scrooge. Yeah. It's the Scrooges owning the place. But this one, I don't know.
What I hoped would happen would that be that this guy, like, his job is like a little too greedy.
Yeah.
And he explains to the guys, like, look, I've really enjoyed this, but you probably don't want to sell to my company because they're just going to mass produce all this shit and lay off all your little workers here. And then he'd be like, but, like, I'd love to, invest in it, buy it myself.
Yeah. I would love to take over this company.
But that's not what happens. It's kind of like a throwaway line in which, at the end, he and Lacey get together. He doesn't fly away, and he's like, "Oh, I talked them into letting me run the whole thing, like, from Rome, so I'm going to live here now."
And then they kiss, and they're in love. Oh, he also helps her through this. There are some other people there who were, like, his connect to the ceramics man, who are from somewhere else, but he introduces Lacey to them and says, hey, they're investors, and so they decide they're going to invest in her, like, boutique tourism company.
Yeah.
Which is basically, you get a private guide for your group, and you pay a lot of money, but you see all the coolest things in Rome.
That, not a bad business idea.
No, it's a great business
idea. But you're definitely catering to elites, not...
Yes, you're going to charge a lot of money for that.
Yeah.
It's a boutique experience.
I wonder how much it would be. I think we did good there. Let's rate this one. I'm going to give this a 2.75.
Cool. I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay.
This was my favorite one. I'm going to say that about the next one, too.
So that brings it to a 5.75. That might be, like, the highest we get, Yeah. Look, if you hit, like, above a 5 on a Hallmark movie, we're kind of saying that that's pretty good for what it is.
Absolutely. I'm kind of surprised at myself that I gave it a 3, but after watching all of these, I think this was the best one.
Right here, 5.75, a C+. A C+, we contend, as we said, that a C+ Hallmark movie is actually pretty good.
Yes.
It's just up to you if you can, if you like these kind of movies or not.
Totally.
We don't want to close our heart to any type of movie, pretty much.
We refuse to close our hearts.
So, yeah, it's as good as Johnny Dangerously and Mank. At least.
Yeah.
That said, let's move on to our next selection, Christmas Waltz.
I was interested in dance lessons for me and my fiance.
You'll want 10 lessons, minimum.
I need to talk to you about something.
This Christmas,
There is no wedding, so I have to cancel.
dance like no one is watching.
I think you'd be surprised how it can lift your spirits.
All you have to do is look deep inside and ask, who do you want to be?
Lacey Chabert and Will Kemp star in the most enchanting holiday movie of the year, Christmas Waltz, on Hallmark Channel.
Christmas Waltz from 2020, directed by Michael Damian, starring Lacey Chabert. Oh my God. Will Kemp, Katrina Reynolds, Jeremy Gilbot, written by Michael Damian, who is the director and writer of this movie.
All right.
Now, what is Lacey's job in this one?
Lacey is a lawyer, and she is engaged at the beginning. Her name is Avery. She's engaged to a guy named David, who just got a job in Boston.
But he's so
But
busy.
she lives in New York. So she's in New York. He's going to get this. He gets this job in Boston. He told her he turned it down, and then he takes it. So she says a goodbye.
Well, she arranges for him and her to have, for their wedding, they're going to dance like a specific formal dance at their wedding.
They're going to learn how to waltz.
He never even remotely looks interested in it whatsoever. So it seems like it might be a bad idea to like go this hard in this particular direction.
Yeah, she pre-orders 10 lessons for them to learn the waltz. And the little gentleman who sells it to her, who we also see dancing in this movie, is a little guy who was on So You Think You Can Dance when they had the kids season.
You could definitely tell he's like a real dancer. And child labor. They're utilizing this child labor as reception.
When he was on So You Think You Can Dance, he was like 6.
Wow.
He was like the tiniest little dancer. He's good. I like him.
I mean, at least this one was, without saying it, more openly gay, this kid.
I will say he's not an actor,
Well, no.
but he's a good dancer and he's a sweet kid.
So the relationship tanks because she's not going to Boston. She's got a life here. And they're just going different directions. But she goes to cancel the appointment, but she meets up with that two-stepping hunk, Will Kemp.
He is a Roman dance teacher who...
Russian. He's Russian born.
No, his name is Roman.
Roman, yes.
His name is Roman. He's a Russian.
But he grew up in England. He's not like...
teacher with an English accent.
He doesn't have the accent. He grew up in England.
Yeah, he's got an English accent.
But he's a dancer, so they just got to say he's Russian background or something. But
yeah, and so he's basically like, why don't you just dance with me? Why don't you just do something for yourself? But she has a problem with control. So she doesn't want to let him lead. She keeps trying to lead. She basically has a panic attack and runs out of the first lesson. And her sassy best friend is like, girl, you better get back in that dance studio.
we often do have a sassy best friend. They all kind of merge together in my brain.
And honestly, I feel like this one's even like the fastest one to tell the story of. She keeps going to classes and they fall in love. At some point, they have a snowball fight and he falls down and busts his head and gets a concussion. So she has to kind of take care of him. She says that she's his wife so she can go back into the ER.
Yeah.
And then she takes him home and then checks on him the next morning and makes him a terrible breakfast. But yeah, they just get to know each other.
She gets really involved in him after he busts his head. I mean, obviously they like each other, right?
But then you get the classic thing where the guy comes back again.
My bad.
He Lacey Chablow it.
Yeah.
And that's just going to be the tag phrase. And he wants to get her back and he tells her, but she's not interested. But he goes to the dance studio and he's like, yo, dance teacher, back the fuck off. This is my girl. We're getting back together. And so then he's shit to her the next time he sees her. He doesn't just ask her.
Yeah.
Hey, David came in here and was a dick. What's happening? It's the wobble. And so he didn't waffle. He still loves her. But it wobbled and it was all David's fault. Oh,
and he's also, they're putting on a program, a show. And I'm like, this show better be good.
Yeah. And so it's called The Christmas Waltz. And there's the mother of the little boy who dances and hangs around there. Elena, she is Roman's dance partner, but she gets stuck in traffic. And Lacey Chabert and her best friend and her parents, who have not been very supportive of her dancing, and they're very upset that she's not with David.
They're in New York, right?
They're in New York. They all go to this show together.
The only problem is just finding parking. Other than that, just hit the train. You're blocks from everywhere.
Well, she's in a car and there's an accident. I don't know. Maybe she's coming from Jersey. You don't know her life. You don't know her life.
These New Yorkers can plan better than this lady can.
Okay, let's not argue that plot point.
It's too late.
Well, okay, so
this is a fictional character.
And they haven't spoken in days. She knows what happened now because she found out what David did because he told her. And she broke up with him officially and forever. And then she's in the audience. She's been trying to reach him for like 2 days. He won't talk. She goes. He texts her and is like, I need you come backstage right now. This was like this in Christmas in Rome too. After the waffle, there's I'm going to ignore this phone call. Yeah, almost every one of these has some ignored phone calls. But she goes up on stage and she has danced this dance with him before because she filled in rehearsal a couple times. They're in love. So he was like, let's dance this beautiful dance together just in their practice. And so she did know it. So they dance. And at the end of the dance, they kiss. Now, this dance, we were criticizing the way it was filmed because the camera keeps going in and in. Not just this one, the kids too. Like the little boy is this is an example of what I'm talking about. You just have a better directorial mind. You just plant the role. And at first I was like, well, I know Lacey Chabert isn't like a real dancer like this guy. But if they really did learn this routine, and they should have, you should have that camera planted to where you can see top to bottom their body. I agree with you, better. 1,000%. And they did really learn it because I looked it up after. Yeah. So if they really learned that dance, they dropped the ball in the way that particular scene was filmed. And maybe the only reason I might edge Christmas in Rome over this one, because that was annoying. And that's something you could have done that doesn't fuck up the formula of the Hallmark. It is an unfortunate thing. The only dance show I've ever really watched is So You Think You Can Dance. I've seen clips of other things, but not watched it consistently. But it's this thing that is very upsetting even in those dance competition shows with the in and out and the swooping. It's amateur. The dance is enough. And it's like they think the dance is not enough to keep your attention, so they need to be swoopy and angles. No, just like fucking plan it and let me watch it. It's straight amateur approach. It's not even thinking about what you're looking at. Well, and I know a lot of people involved in this are probably into that kind of stuff. It's overthinking. It's not that it's not thinking, it's overthinking. Yeah. It's like, this is not enough. No, let it be simple. Take a breath. You don't have to do everything at your disposal. And I think we'll say that with the Mariah directed one at the end as well. Listen, this is going to get worse and worse as we go. So this one I'm going to give a 2.5. Same. So that's a solid 5. Yes. All right. So from here on, we're going to be hitting up 2018 and we'll be going in descending order as the DVD package laid it out for us. So here we go with Pride, Prejudice, and Mistletoe.
The great and charmed Darcy Fitzwilliam. We should all be so lucky.
Maybe it's not so much luck. Maybe it's, hard work.
A little luck.
Lacey Chabert and Brendan Penny jolly it up this Christmas.
I definitely won.
You're the pro and I'm the con.
I don't know if you want to call yourself a con.
You want some help now? It's tradition.
Oh.
Pride, Prejudice, and Mistletoe on Hallmark Channel.
Pride, Prejudice, and Mistletoe, directed by Don McBraerty.
Yep.
Starring Lacey Chabert, Brendan Penny, Sherry Miller, Art Hindle. Written by Melissa Dela Cruz and Nina Weinman. Okay. This one, like Bob said, 2018. Was this written by Jane Austen?
Not this
I didn't
version.
See her name on this.
So in the real Pride and Prejudice, the main character is Elizabeth Bennet, who falls in love with Mr. Darcy. And I don't remember which one of them is high class, one of them is not on the same level, right? So what we get with this one is Lacey plays Darcy, an investor who comes home for the holidays, and she wants to help small companies with their investments, but her business is trying to shove her out. So she's the one with the money and the big family. This is when the business is actually turning, and this is the first time where the business gets in the way, and she actually is like, fuck y'all. Yeah, so she is having a big argument with them, but she needs to go home. But when she goes home, she's gone home to help her mother plan this big charity event, this big charity silent auction. And she gets home, she's going to do it. Her mom gets this caterer, and it ends up being Luke Bennett, who is her former high school debate rival. He is a caterer, but he also owns a restaurant that one day will be called Luke's Table. So it's like a restaurant that he's trying to get off the ground, and her mom's like, you will be famous after this.
Now, this is the first time we see, at least in this set of movies we're discussing, Lacey's character's family.
Yes.
I got a theory about some of these movies, not all, because the theory can't run with everyone that presents a family. But there's a theory. I have a theory that one of the family ones is true, and then the other ones are just she's the same woman, but she's a con woman going around and she's a black widow in all these men. That's why she's available every following year.
Okay.
We'll put it together at the end more, but anyway.
Okay, I'll let you do that. So she does have a guy named Carl. This is the ex-boyfriend in this one. So Carl works for her dad. So her dad is also an investor and has an investment firm that also has a New York office, which is where she lives, but she doesn't work for her father because she wanted to go out on her own. So she started her own investment company with some other people. She's a partner. But they want to make more money, and they're only concerned about money, and they have these minimums. Like, you can't invest with them unless you have a lot of money.
Right.
And she's like, that's not cool. I want to help people invest who have a little bit of money and help them get more money, like small businesses. And like, there's a man who works like the hot dog stand or it's coffee stand. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, his kid got into college. His kid got into college, and she basically is like, I wish I could help him.
Yeah.
Invest to pay for his kid's school.
You know,
but
she's
her
very
company won't let her.
She's very nice because her company, I'm no businessman, but you don't want to invest in someone's coffee stand. Those things barely make their overhead. But I get it.
Hit the button.
She's just charitable. She's doing these decoration plans with her mom and this guy is coming in and out, and they're kind of old rivals because she was
debate team.
Yeah, the debate team.
But they won a bunch of shit
and
they were up against each other.
They argue about this theme called Winter Wonderland or Season of Giving, and at the end of the day, it just looks like a fucking.
It's just Christmas.
It's just Christmas. So like, it's kind of silly, you know.
I know. He ends up helping her a lot more. She always doesn't need his help. She wants to like pick the tree up by herself. She wants to, carry the big box by herself, and he eventually helps her. He has a truck. Her mom loves him because he's a great cook. But there is this undercurrent of Carl wants her back. And they say this so many times with the exes. On paper, she and Carl should work. But it's just not quite right.
Her ex-boyfriend looks like he'd be like a low-level officer on the Death Star in a Star Wars movie or something like that. But yeah, so that dude ain't getting no pussy anymore. But old school debate buddy that they kind of have a little back and forth with each other. They're falling for each other. This
is the movie that gives us the famous quote that we now live by. Pie clears the mind.
And fills the butt. Yeah. Hey, I can't argue with that.
There is also a snowball fight in this movie. And this is the one with the caroling. This is when I started noticing that you're on the same small town street in every one of these subsequent movies.
The first some back lot in Atlanta,
and then
I
you're
guess.
In a dance studio.
I think many were made in Canada, actually.
Starting in this one, it is like the same street.
The snow looks great, too.
The snow looks like blankets.
Just draped white fabric.
There's always a caroler, but it's like less than 4 people. 4 or less people singing. And chestnuts.
Yeah,
We've never had a roasted chestnut.
They keep bringing up chestnuts in all these movies. We've never had one. We got to try a roasted chestnut.
Chestnuts roasting.
Stop that. So during the waffle, the guy runs away. The dude played by Brendan Penny, and it's ridiculous because she's like, they're trying to find him.
Well, he runs away because he sees her and Carl talking and Carl asking her to get back together, so he just assumes they're going to.
But they don't check the one place he's always at, his own fucking restaurant.
He wasn't at the restaurant. He was out. He was with the investor at her car.
Oh,
he
right.
walked the investor to her car. He was going to probably sulk and go to his restaurant. But it doesn't make sense that he would leave because he's catering this event and it's a big deal for him. So he was probably outside sulking. The investor started to leave. And so he walked her to her car and she basically was like, your food's great. I'm going to give you all my money.
Yeah. Also, someone else investing in a restaurant that is just going to be a singular one, also a risky investment.
Well, maybe the goal is to
But I do
build.
like people just want to help each other in the Hallmark world. I can get behind that. No problem.
This is also a woman who previously invested in a small ice cream store. So this is her lane.
Yeah.
Niche.
She's got like
boutique,
5% of
small
every
shits.
boutique restaurant and store in this little town.
The one thing we didn't mention is that this whole auction fundraiser is for these children.
Like a rec center kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like this kids club place for them to go after school.
It's
kind of like the Y.
It's the Burger King Kids Club.
But the thing that's crazy is the kids are supposed to sing their carols at this thing. Like they're going to come sing a Christmas carols. The wait
They're
staff
terrible.
does not show up.
Yeah.
So literally,
They gotta
the
get
guy
more.
goes, huh? And Lacey's like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? And you know what they do? Child labor. And we end on that note.
They force child labor and then they make out in front of these children. It's disgusting.
Also, when the kids are singing in the front of this whole group of people they're trying to get money from, it's like Lacey and her family and his like family. They don't even put the rich people who are supposed to give the money in the front. It's like this very staged. It's like Lacey, her mom and dad, him and his brother and her best friend. This is also
not a very big place
best
for
friends
that
marry
kind
brothers.
of thing either. That's
best
right.
friends marry brothers.
Yeah, in-laws all together. These little towns, I tell you. So, how much do you give Pride, Prejudice, and Mistletoe?
2.
I'm gonna give it a 2.25. So that's a 4.25. It's D's nuts.
I did not really care for this one very much. I like Lacey, but she was kind of annoying in this one. Like her character.
Check it out at the 4.25. It's a D plus for Pride, Prejudice, and Mistletoe. Right next to Superman and the Mole Men and Air. So it's at least as good as Air.
Sure.
I'd probably rewatch this over Air.
I would too.
To be quite honest. All right.
I heard someone say Air was good the other day, and I was like, I don't trust you.
Y'all need to chill. Y'all need to chill. Y'all need to chill. Okay, we're going to go on to our next one.
Hallmark Channel is serving up the perfect holiday treat.
The American Gingerbread Competition. I got in.
Now, she'll need a little help
I have to win this contest if I'm going to start my cake business.
to make her sweetest dreams come true.
Hi, Nick.
Kylie Watson.
You two were inseparable back in high school.
Lacey Chabert and Lee Coco,
You just need to trust your talent.
Things are going to change this Christmas.
the sweetest Christmas. Part of Countdown to Christmas on Hallmark Channel, the heart of Christmas.
The Sweetest Christmas from 2017, directed by Terry Ingram. Starring Lacey Chabert, Leah Coco, Jonathan Adams, and Brendan Sunderland. Written by Aaron Dobson.
Cool. In this one, Lacey's name is Kylie. She is a girl who lives with her sister and brother-in-law and their 2 children because she went to culinary school and she worked at a 5-star restaurant. But it closed. And so now she's working as a receptionist at her boyfriend's company, Hockey Homes.
Hockey Homes. Yeah, she works a reception at a real estate firm. I like this level of work for the Lacey Chabert lead. Something that's like skill, but not too snooty, not too...
Yeah.
It's accessible, but she struggles a little.
We don't really see her doing much at that place, except she does organize a party for them, a Christmas party. But the main thing is that she wants to start her own business called Kylie's Cakes, and she is entering a contest to create a gingerbread sculpture, and if she becomes a semifinalist, will go to this big thing, and it's like world known, this competition in Helena.
There's no way Kylie'sCakes.com was not taken when
Right.
she went for that. There's no way there wasn't.
I know. So she ends up going out to dinner with her boyfriend, and she thinks he's going to propose to me. And he truly like is like, I'm taking you to a surprise place. There's like rose petals on the table. It's like intense. It's their anniversary. And she thinks he's going to propose. And instead he offers to make her the office manager at work. He keeps saying, we're a team. And she's like, I don't want to be a team. I want to be your fucking girlfriend.
Wife.
Yeah. But she doesn't say that.
Yeah.
So then she breaks up with him.
Well, they eat at her ex-boyfriend's
That's what it is.
Italian joint.
They went to prom together and she broke his heart. We find out.
After his dad died. What the fuck?
His mom died. We find out that his mom passed away and his dad was trying to run the business. And, which the restaurant, I guess, was handed down to him. I don't know. That was a little confusing. But the dad was alone and needed him. But he was traveling back and forth to see her at college all the time. And she basically said, you need to be with your family. This is not the right time for us.
Yeah.
This isn't meant to be.
It's for the best of everyone involved, considering the current situation's breakup.
So she goes off to culinary school. She goes off and works on this big restaurant, right? And he starts this 5-star pizzeria. He gets married, has a kid, and then gets divorced.
This kid, I'm going to try not to be mean because this is a real person playing this with that face. I hated this kid's face.
Can I tell you?
What?
Not the worst kid in this 6-pack of movies.
No, I wasn't as mad at the girl at the end. We'll get to her, all right. But she's...
You liked it when she talked like this?
She's, Lacey's character is going to do this gingerbread decoration contest. With some help, she uses her ex-boyfriend's kitchen.
Because why? Because her nieces decided to put some plastic toys in the oven, and that ruined the oven.
Yeah, and
you can't replace oven racks.
There's a lot of moments in this particular one where it's like, you know, in when the infomercial world, when they're like, I can't cook an egg properly, I need some device that does it for me, and it's got the person like stabbing the egg in a pan with a spatula, like that's how you would do it.
Yeah.
There was a touch of that kind of, it's like a parallel universe where everyone is just horribly bad at everything.
And she immediately has feelings for him. So his kid has already asked her to help him.
He's been in that meat stocking before. Like they've hit it before a long time ago.
I don't think Lacey would like you calling it that either.
You're right. She definitely would be on your side.
So his kid needs help making a dessert for his school potluck. She needs an oven. So they trade. Immediately it's obvious that they're in love with each other again. And the guy that works as I guess it's a sous chef, I don't know, at this pizza restaurant, whatever. Reggie, is his name Reggie? I don't know. The
gay character that is like, my wife. Like, honestly, he says wife so much that
we never see her.
It just makes him seem gayer.
We never see her.
Is she in Canada, Reggie? All right.
Apparently she sleeps in.
Oh.
Because remember the kid had to go with them to the restaurant store. Anyway.
If you told everyone, like, I have a husband, he sleeps in, you'd be correct.
That's the truth.
We never see your husband, and you go, well, he's sleeping in. You would be right.
Come back at 2:30.
Yeah.
Anyway, so long story short, she gets into the competition as a finalist. She finds out really late because the letter was behind the copier. Her ex-boyfriend tries to sponsor her. She says no, and he's like, I need to make a grand gesture. She's in love with this man because he brought pizza to the party. I'm talking fast because there's only 30 seconds left. And so he brings pizza to the party. The guy sees them together and is like, oh shit, she fell in love with someone else. I have to make a gesture. He gets this woman who literally wrote the cookbook on gingerbread that she is using to enter this competition for gingerbread. This is so selfish.
But it's a front to propose.
It is a front to propose, but she really entered.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. I'm going to propose to you, but I'm also going to make you lose, theoretically.
I'm going to make it look like I'm trying to sabotage you at first, but surprise, it's a proposal. It doesn't work. She's going to fuck the guy that runs the 5-star pizzeria.
I actually think this is... We're going to talk a few more minutes. I actually think this is one of the better, like, fleshed out, bigger stories, because you also have... Because you have the friend, you have her sister, like you have people who are like invested that you actually feel like you get to know.
Yeah, yeah.
More than in the other ones. It's not just Lacey and the guy. There is like a community of people around them. And so, yeah, so there's this whole thing where she buys them a Christmas tree. He's a single dad. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
I kind of like how grumpy he is, too.
He is really grumpy.
Like, it kind of, he seems a little more realistic. Like, he gets a little short with her when she's trying to force Christmas stuff. And
he's like, I can handle this.
And he gets a little angry, even though she explains to him that the waffle is not a waffle. He's still like just a little mad about it.
Yeah, well, and so she's like, oh shit, I have to do a big gesture now. I need to show him that I love him. Because she did see the engagement early, and she was saying no to the man, but he walked in and saw the guy on his knee. And so he assumes they're going to get married. So when they were decorating the Christmas tree, he showed her this music box
carousel
that he had bought. He was probably going to give it to her the Christmas she broke up with him. That's what I think. So she makes a carousel out of gingerbread, and that is how she tells him she loves him.
Yeah, and then they kiss.
And she wins.
That's right. And so what do you give this one?
2.75.
Give it a 2.5.
Okay.
So we're up to 5.75 again.
5.25.
5.25. This is our second ever 5.25. It shares the spot with The Brides of Dracula. Pretty much the same movie, you know? All right, let's move on to the next one.
Lacey Chabert, Paul Green.
There's your coffee. I'll get to it this afternoon. This morning would be better. Okay, no problem.
She was me.
Excuse me.
You forgot your present.
Until a magical wish
I wish that I could be brave.
gave her moxie.
You know that idea wasn't yours. It's not a compliment to ask me to do your work. I've always had a really hard time speaking up.
Well, it seems like you got over it.
I think my wish came true.
A Wish for Christmas on Hallmark Channel.
A Wish for Christmas from 2016. Directed by Christy Will Wolfe. Starring Lacey Chabert, Paul Green, Andrea Brooks, Colleen Wheeler. Written by Helen Frost, Don McLeod, and Liam Fearnley. Now, we get magic in this one.
Santa magic.
That's right. A little bit of Santa magic. There's a secret Santa. What is she doing in here? She works for, what's her job?
She is a web designer at a marketing firm named Sarah.
That's right. And she wishes for some balls. And she literally gets them big, hairy balls.
Is Peter Williams.
Yeah, Peter Williams.
He's the head of the marketing firm.
And her middle manager guy keeps stealing her ideas, and she's just not standing up for herself.
And she gets this card that says you get a wish for 48 hours. And she says, I want to be brave.
I want to be brave. And then that's when, after she makes the wish, it starts to count down the hours on the card. And
magic.
Santa gives her the wish, by the way. He just shows up. He's like, here you go.
He's there. Santa's there.
And so she tells off her middle management, and
he gets fired. And the boss, Peter, is like, why don't you come with me to Seattle? They're in Chicago. To pitch to this guy who's a hard ass. And they get there, and the guy accepts some other thing and doesn't meet with him. And she tells off the reception, and he wants to give up, but she's like, no. And she's like, we want our meeting. We came all this way. We flew here, damn it. The movie is like trying to get to the point of getting this meeting with this guy, but we're also dealing with this guy's past, his history. Yeah. And his dad, he got in a fight with his dad because his dad wants him to be a lawyer. I guess him owning his own fucking marketing firm isn't good enough. Well, this is another one where the dad's a lawyer and he wants his son to be a lawyer with him. So this is another, like, if you don't, like, you need to come work for me thing. You know, it's weird because he doesn't tell her this is where he lives, but the receptionist is like, you can go to this ski lodge in this small town. Do you know it? He's like, yeah, I know it. They go there. They have to stay because the guy cancels on them again because they're like 5 minutes late or something. They end up staying in his aunt's bed and breakfast.
Yeah, who's, what's her name from Sister Act?
No, that's the other movie. That's the aunt in the last
never
movie.
mind.
This is just a very pretty blonde woman. Remember we talked about
Yeah, they started to blend at the end anyway.
Yeah, this one is just a blonde aunt, and so basically the aunt is like, come see your parents. And he's like, no, we don't have time. We have to work. And Lacey's like, we're going to see your parents. If you don't go, I'm going to go by myself, which is weird as fuck.
Totally. I'm inviting myself to your parents' house for Christmas.
And whenever her like bravery wish kicks in, everything goes like, woo. So you also know it's magic. You know it's about to happen. She's about to tell you what she thinks.
I wanted her to physically attack people. Like, she gets so brave that she just straight up like just starts throwing fists.
Well, she does go into the dad and is basically, I mean, this is actually, she kind of just opens up to him and basically says, whatever happened to you guys, you need to get over it. I lost my dad 6 years ago and I miss him. Like, you have your son. Like, fucking get over it.
Yeah.
Which is actually really great and I think does help them.
The dad is just mad because the son didn't choose the elitist path he wanted.
And apparently he gave him an ultimatum on a Christmas dinner like 3 years ago, which is weird timing.
To be a lawyer.
And he said no.
What kind of rebellion is... What a weird family if rebelling is... starting up your own marketing firm.
And to the point where the dad doesn't want to talk to you. Like, he sees him and it just, like, turns. He doesn't even talk. It's, like, so rude. Also, weird tiny note. His mom makes world-famous cocoa that literally has snowmans inside of it. It was weird. I was like, why are we...
So they
do weird specific things.
They finally meet up with this guy they're trying to pitch for. They have to go to a ski lodge. And he's an asshole, and she tells him off. And then the beau, the love interest, Peter, gets mad at her for telling him off. He's like, you know how this guy is. But the thing is, Peter was ready to just move on when he realized the appointment was canceled. And then when she stands up for herself, then he's like, we needed this. It's like, bro, you were giving up on this at the fucking airport in Seattle.
Than you were ever going to get on your own.
Exactly. And then suddenly he's like, I needed this account. I needed this. So they split up. She feels bad. He goes to stay with his family, but she doesn't fly back. He tries to fly her back, but she doesn't go back. And she manages to jump in this guy's stretch SUV limo. And we don't see the proposal. This proposal for Christmas 365. It's already like dumb as hell, the idea of the proposal.
Let's have Christmas all year round.
But when you're going to set up like a show or a pageant or a proposal, you need to show us what your proposal is so we can judge it. But of course, she convinces this guy off camera to accept their Christmas 365.
The thing that was more upsetting to me is then, the guy had obviously fallen in love with her and he listened to all the things that she said. So he goes back home and he walks into the company where everyone's having to work and he brought them dinner and he's like, y'all need to stop working. And also, if you want to go home, go home.
Everyone's
and then
paid
his
double.
Family shows up and his dad is hugging him and he's like, thanks for coming by and straightening me out, kid. Where's that fucking scene?
That family literally were like, probably on the plane right after his plane.
It was so dumb.
I can picture him like hunkering down in the end of the plane where they were at, like, make sure our son doesn't see us. Because you would have had to take the next flight out to like get there.
Also, how you people getting last minute flights on Christmas? I'm sorry. That's dumb.
I mean, if it ain't filled out and you're ready to pay dumb amounts of money.
Also, they make a big deal about mistletoe and then they first kiss not under the mistletoe. It's really stupid. Also, the gay character in this one is that guy that works at the company.
Yeah,
who carries the mistletoe.
He doesn't say he has a wife or anything.
I liked him. I think he is gay, and I liked him a lot.
So that is A Wish for Christmas.
Santa shows back up at the end.
Yeah, and she's like, "Who is my secret Santa guy? And who hired that Santa?"
Oh, yes,
and they're like, "I didn't hire a Santa."
And then the woman goes, "Oh," because Lacey goes, "Well, he gave me a gift, and I'd like to ask for another one." And the woman goes, "You know what? Get it for yourself. Give it to yourself. It's okay to do that."
So what do you give A Wish for Christmas here? I'll give it a 1.75.
Okay, me too.
All right. Here we go. Let me show it to you on our list. A Wish for Christmas is at least as good as Johnny Mnemonic. At least.
I'd watch Johnny Mnemonic again.
Now let's go into our final selection.
This December, Mariah Carey and Hallmark Channel come together for a special holiday movie event.
Today's your lucky day.
With a Christmas melody you'll never forget.
Yes!
Lacey Chabert, Brennan Elliott, Kathy Najimy, and directed by and starring Mariah Carey.
Merry Christmas.
A Christmas Melody, an all-new movie premiere. Saturday, December 19th at 8 on Hallmark Channel, The Heart of Mary.
A Christmas Melody from 2015, directed by Mariah Carey, starring Mariah Carey. She is billed as the lead, but she's not. Lacey Chabert, Brennan Elliott, Fina Straza, written by David Diamond and David Weissman.
I'm sorry. Also, Kathy Najimy.
Right. Sorry. Kathy. That's the lady from Sister Act, right? So
she stole the show this time.
Okay, this is the worst one, hands down.
This is the worst one.
And maybe shot for shot, maybe like the worst directed movie we've seen for the show so far.
Yes.
Easily.
So here's who we're dealing with. Lacey's name is Kristen. She is a designer. She moved to LA. She got married. She had a kid. Her husband died. She just recently basically went bankrupt and lost her boutique. So she's moved back to her hometown where her aunt, Kathy Najimy, owns a place called the Silver Falls Diner. I thought it said Silver Balls Diner.
It should have said Silver Balls.
I think it should have as well. And puts her kid into school. Kid's unhappy, but kid gets happier mostly because of her music teacher named Danny Collier, who had a crush on Lacey since they were in high school.
They're all supposed to be 35.
Mariah Carey is the head of the PTA, and apparently these three people, Danny, Mariah Carey, and Lacey, graduated high school together in 1998. That is when I graduated high school.
Yeah, they are. I mean, look, Mariah Carey looks great. She's, in a sense, she's ageless. She's a beautiful woman.
Yeah, but there's also obviously a filter on every shot of her.
She filters the fuck out of her own shots. Also, everything, it looks like they're having to read her lines and they repeat it back. And and every shot, her dialogue is just a straight camera shot on her face. It's there's not really group photos where she's actively acting and interacting with people like everyone else is doing.
Even when people respond to her, it goes just to them and she's not on screen.
And it seems like she's like, someone was like, yeah, these are all our camera filters. And she was like, ooh, I'm just going to play and use half of them. We have a janitor character who's supposed to be Santa Claus. They call him Thomas. And there's one scene where his face is bright red and it looks like they ran a filter on it. And there's another part where it looked like the actual shot, like they had a different lower quality camera or something.
It looked like it was buffering. It was a DVD.
It was a DVD. The settings were off, or the digital settings or whatever were not consistent.
Terrible.
And there should be like some kind of cinematographer here to do it, but I heard she could be hard to work with, so maybe people weren't keen on helping her make it look good if she...
Or just contradicting her.
And I don't know if that was the scene, but it just seemed like...
I don't
know. Mariah directed this. Mariah stars in it, but it is the character you can cut and it wouldn't change anything about this movie.
Well, she's as close as you have to a bad guy. Like, she's the villain, if you can have a villain. She's basically just a bitchy mom who thinks that she's the hottest shit in town, and she's made herself the queen of the PTA. Her daughter, she wants to be the star of the snowflake ball or whatever the fuck they're doing. And she actually even tells Lacey that her daughter is not allowed to audition because auditions ended 3 days ago. And Mr. Collier, who wants to get up in Lacey's... I'm not saying it.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were going to say it.
Well, you're volleying me for that now?
I'm trying to be nice. This is where it originated.
Meat stocking.
And, again, I don't think she would approve. But...
Of course not.
He has a crush on her, so he's like, of course your daughter can audition. Ends up, long story short, the costumes are shit, so Lacey needs to design the costumes for this show, and the little girl can't pick a song, but she's a poet, so she's 9, and so the guy's like, let's write a song for you. When they're like playing with the guitar and it's like a cappella and they're just singing together, it's cute.
Yeah.
What we end up at the end is like a Mariah Carey music video. It's dumb. But
I wasn't hating look, all Christmas songs suck.
Yeah. And I'm saying I didn't hate it either. But
and as far as like an original song it looked like that's what they put.
It was auto-tuned.
Yeah, but it also seemed like the thing that everyone put the most work into.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, because that's what she knows.
Yeah.
It was a music video.
Yeah.
It's also a song about mommy needs some love. So Santa come and make it right. Because she wants her to fall in love with Mr. Collier. The only wobble, the wobble in this one.
Yeah.
Her best friend from LA shows up on her doorstep to visit and is like, guess what? I showed your lookbook to my boss at the department store and they want to give you your own line.
Yeah.
Surprise! Lacey didn't even know. And then the daughter gets upset because she just settled in. She's just starting to get accepted. She wants her mom to fall in love with Mr. Collier. She doesn't want to go to LA. And basically, because she wrote a letter to Santa Claus saying, let us go back to LA, she thinks that she's ruined everything and this is her wish coming true.
Wish.
So she says to Thomas, What if I don't want my original wish? And he basically says to her, well, you really haven't wished your second wish until you sing it. But I have a feeling that when you sing your wish, you're going to get everything you want.
During that performance, we get shots of Thomas just dancing around.
Yeah, on his own.
Yeah,
where is he?
By
There's
himself.
no one around him.
In his prison
weird.
cell. He's in his prison cell just dancing.
Mr. Collier is like, there's no chemistry. The one thing I can say about all the other men is I do feel like there is some level of chemistry. This guy, none.
No, I didn't feel it either. I thought it was kind of weak, and it definitely the bad shot choices. It's just obviously not. It's not even. You know, the other directors at least have a formula that they can stick to, and at least can remain consistent in their filters and shit like that. But this one was all over the place.
The only last thing that I would like to say is earlier I kind of made fun of the little girl in this movie. Here's the deal. She's a child. There's nothing wrong with this person. She's beautiful. She can sing, whatever.
I trashed the little boy's face.
The deal. I want to explain my problem with her. Okay?
Okay.
I think she's even a decent little actress, but what she does is cutesy voice. And I couldn't fucking stand it.
Yeah.
The whole time. It's like, Mommy, don't you want to let me do this? Don't you think I should be able to be... And it just annoyed the fuck out of me. I wanted to be like, can you just talk like you normally talk?
Yeah, I hear you. This one is just not a good movie, like even a little bit, even for a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
Low end. I did think it was funny where when they first arrive in their little town, like it's snowing a little. Mm-hmm. And then there's a scene later where her and this dude, they're outside and it starts to snow and they're like...
in the street that looks like every other street.
And they're like, oh my God, when it was literally like flurrying when you arrived.
No. It's really...
bad.
This one's the worst one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mariah did not act. She did.
Also,
she literally did seem like people were just reading her lines and she's reading it back.
I also never knew Mariah Carey had a lisp.
Yeah, I guess we don't hear her just straight talk that much anymore. But
I love Mariah Carey. I don't listen to her anymore, but I will say that for a very long time, I had Mariah Carey cassette tapes on repeat. I grew up listening to her. I don't know anything she's newly done, but I have a soft spot for her, but listen, a director, she is not.
No disrespect to the rest of her career. She's a great singer. We all know that. Also, you can't sing a little in your own movie.
At all. Also, something was missing because in all these other movies, Lacey she's good with children.
Yeah.
I feel like in this one where she's supposed to be a mom, it was the least connection. There was just no connections in this. Kathy and Jimmy saved this movie.
It is dumb that Mariah did not even sing a line in a movie she directed.
I thought for sure when she was the queen of the PTA that she was going to write herself in.
That would have been actually kind of funny.
Well, a la Love Actually, it happens in that one where the mom's like, my daughter's going to sing the solo, but I'm going to be backup. Like, it's so, you could do it. It's so silly.
Mariah, this sucked. You didn't help anyone. Lacey Chabert, she came up on her own, all right? And, there's plenty more Lacey Chabert movies out there. I think we could do another six-pack with just...
Valentine's Day?
With just Lacey Chabert Christmas movies. Yeah,
probably.
I mean, we could do Valentine's if you want.
No, obviously you don't.
I mean...
I just know there's another one with her and the waltzing man.
Oh,
and I think
Waltz?
I think it might be something like that. I don't know. I have to look it up. I have to look it up. It's not Christmas.
All right. Well, let's judge this one in particular.
1.
Give it a 0.5. Honestly, it'd probably be a 0, but I'm just being nice to
I'm giving it
the little girl.
A 1 for the little girl and Kathy and Jimmy. I did enjoy her on the screen.
That's a 1.5.
And the Silver Balls Diner.
All right, folks. Just like S tier, when you hit F tier, there's no breaking down your score. You're just in the line of F tier. So yes, F tier. So joining the ranks of Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, I Am Sam, riding the bus with my sister Tammy, the other sister, and Thor: Love and Thunder is the Mariah Carey directed Hallmark movie, A Christmas Melody. Definitely, hands down. It makes, Christmas in Rome seem like, I don't know, like a Martin Scorsese movie or some shit. It's just not good. And also, we went in descending order for the year. With the first one was 2019, the second was 2020, and then it was 2018, 17, 16, 15. So we actually kind of went back into the earlier days of Lacey Chabert doing these movies.
I said before we started recording this that I wish we'd gone the other direction and gone like 15, 16, 17, all the way up to 20. But I think it's probably really good that we would have ended on a higher note, but I think that we would have been less gung-ho to continue.
And that's true.
Like, we really liked...
we would have been
what
struggling.
They are, we liked the first couple, so we were in.
If we started with a Christmas melody, it would have been like, oh my God, what are we doing?
Do we have to do this?
So maybe it's for the best that we did it the way we did it.
Yeah.
That's pretty smart of Hallmark. Hey, make sure the better ones are like the first few.
Well, they act like, ooh, but Mariah Carey is at the end and the best.
Yeah, but look, we all know. Horrid.
All I want for Christmas is not to see that movie again.
Yeah, well, we never will. We'll never watch that movie again, I swear to God.
Okay.
So one of these movies in which Lacey is with family, I think it's going to be this one, the one with her daughter. And then something happens between that and the other ones where she doesn't have family.
And no more daughter?
She's a black widow. That daughter might be sold off somewhere.
What?
Look, I feel like there's a dark undertone that you could connect, which could lead...
I don't like this.
Which could lead to a new Lacey Chabert movie, Mistletoe over Cell Block D, where she finds love as she's locked up for being a black widow murderer. Maybe she sent the kid off to go live with her ex.
I was going to say, no. Her dad's dead. So what she did is she leaves the kid with Kathy, with Aunt Kathy and Jimmy. Okay?
Good idea.
And
Abandons.
then she goes
Just
and
abandons
becomes
the town.
a junior web designer at that marketing firm.
There you go.
And then she becomes the marketing director at that firm, and then...
She gets a little hot, though. She has to leave that.
She needs to leave, so she runs to culinary school.
After she kills that guy.
Yeah. Then she goes to culinary school and gets with that single dad.
No, because culinary school, she's with family. That's a separate one. That's not the same character. It's more like, look, this is our weird connection here. A Christmas Melody is our original, right? Mm-hmm. And
then she goes into the marketing.
So yeah, she's working in the marketing. Then it's a wish for Christmas. So she seduces Peter, but kills Peter for his money. But shit gets hot. So she can't do the Sweetest Christmas or Pride, Prejudice and Mistletoe.
Well, the Christmas Waltz.
She goes into
New York.
So she goes to New York and does the Christmas Waltz, meets another guy, lies her way into another job because she does have job skills.
She has to get the fuck out and she goes to Rome.
But she's a straight up murderer, and at the end, yes, she has to escape to Rome.
So the only ones that are standing on their own are Pride and Prejudice and Mistletoe and the Sweetest Christmas.
Yes, and all the other ones are technically the same character. She has just abandoned her child in that town in Georgia from A Christmas Melody and has been bouncing around, changing her name and killing these men.
She does have parents in the Christmas Waltz, but they're assholes.
She just paid them. They're cons as well. Deep cut cons. All right, look, it's a little... It's goofy as fuck, but it's kind of just fun for me to think of it like that.
Yeah, I get
But can we get a Hallmark Christmas movie where Lacey Chabert is locked up and...
I'll be home for Christmas. Mommy's gonna get paroled.
I bet there's already a title of that.
Sure, but I was just trying to think of
Mistletoe over Cell Block D is a good one.
Okay.
Because it signifies that she's locked up.
Is this gonna be a lesbian relationship?
If she's not even gone interracial yet. Which she should.
Let's get that one too.
Yeah, let's get that one.
Hey, we don't know what happened in 21,
it's an interracial
22,
lesbian
and 23.
relationship. Then.
Okay.
And it's like the queen prison guard lady.
Oh, a prison guard? That's a little
yeah.
problematic.
Well, she's going for someone with more like a power dynamic, that is nice about it. Look, this will be good. Let us write. Can we write some of these? We're asking.
You can. You asking the world?
Yeah. Look, I'm not really going to give you the weird ones that I'm just spitballing. I'll try to make it, a little more. I understand your formula. I'll play ball.
Have you seen, I sent to you, have you seen the AI generated Hallmark movie script?
I mean,
it's just the first page.
It's probably very easy to generate
It
this.
is insane.
Yeah. I try to avoid the AI stuff because it just makes me depressed when I encounter it.
Sure, totally.
That said, that was our 6-pack Hallmark Lacey Chabert Christmas selections. Even when it was kind of shitty, we did have fun. And we end on her mouth, her giant mouth above my head. And yeah, so our next drop will be on Christmas Day. We'll be discussing It's a Wonderful Life, appropriately enough. But until then, you know, a Merry Christmas to y'all and a Hallmark holiday, all the Hallmark holiday cheer you can muster. And Lacey Chabert, we wish you a Merry Christmas and the Happy Holidays as well. But Mariah, we're going to have to punish you, and you're going to need to sit this Christmas out. But it'll be okay by next year, but this you're in timeout because we just saw this movie, and you have to be punished, and you have to do what we say. Check the links for places to find us.
Yes. Like,
subscribe. Are there any? Make some Hallmark movie recommendations. There's plenty we haven't seen. Mm-hmm. Just throw them out there. What do you think is your favorite, if you have any? Yeah, stick around for more.
Pie clears the mind.
It's